My name is Kavin Griffin. I'm an instructor at the North Texas Training Center. This video is for my Workforce Ed 106 course through Penn State University. This is lesson number 6. Today, the course that we're going to cover is fall protection. The unit of instruction will be personal fall arrest systems, and the lesson will be how to inspect, don, and adjust a universal fit vest style full body harness. The objective of this lesson is that given a written checklist, the student will complete an inspection of a universal fit vest style full body harness with 100% accuracy. The second objective will be given the universal fit vest style full body harness. The student will then don and adjust the full body harness within a 3-minute time limit. This lesson should take approximately 10 minutes. The equipment that's necessary for this lesson, there's 3 items. The first being a full body harness instruction manual, which is in front of you, a UVC construction fall protection textbook, which is also on your table, and then lastly, you'll need a universal fit vest style full body harness. So I'll begin by explaining really the purpose of a full body style harness, and the fact that what it does in the event of a fall is it distributes the force of that fall throughout your body. In the past, there were body belts and so forth, and that really concentrated the forces of that fall in one specific area. But what the full body harness does is it distributes that force equally across your shoulders and your hips and so forth, and kind of lessens that impact a little bit, you might say. It makes it a more survivable condition. And so we'll begin by just kind of generally looking at what a full body harness is. And this is an example of one right here that's a universal fit vest style. And pretty much, as you can tell, they come tangled up. A lot of times these are stored toolboxes, trucks, and so forth. So what you want to do is you want to locate the D-ring, which is this item right here, and just kind of shake out the harness, kind of get everything straightened up, make it a little bit easier to maneuver as far as the inspection process and things and so forth is concerned. And so as you can see, this one did really well the first time. A few things that you need to look for that's on the checklist there in front of you is I tend to look at all the metallic items first. I want to see if there's any cracks or deformations, if anything's been bent or is missing. For instance, say for instance a grommet might be missing, or maybe one of the buckles are bent or so forth. And obviously if there's some distortions of heavy metal, then you're going to know that possibly the harness has already been used in the event of a fall. So the second thing I want to look for is markings on the harness. And there's generally, people like to put their names on them. And the newer ones have tags and so forth that allows you to personalize and also to mark dates of inspection. Hopefully that's done on a consistent basis. And so it's a lot of people you want to use a Sharpie or whatever to scribble their name on to make sure that no one else uses that fall harness. But the deal with is the composition of the Sharpie, the chemical components, that actually breaks down this material. So be very aware that if that harness has that on it, that it's generally not acceptable within the field. And the last thing I want to look for is actually the fiber of the harness itself. I want to see if there's any fraying, if there's any rips or cuts or tears and so forth on any component of the vest. And then one thing that I like to do is I like to roll the material. And sometimes if you'll do that, or either invert it as well, it'll show you a deformation within the fiber, and that could be either on the top side or the bottom side of the item. So once you've went through the checklist and made sure that you're satisfied with the inspection of the harness, the next thing that we want to do is we want to don the harness. And so I'm right-handed. I typically start on that side, and you put it on just much like you would a vest. And you want to make sure all the components of the harness are laying flat on your body, as they are here. And then I usually take this first buckle, go ahead and hook it up. And then after that point, I double check everything's laying flat on the body, like I said, on the back side as well. The next thing that I will do at that point is I'll reach through between my legs. I'll grab the strapping. I'll make sure that it's not twisted. I'll bring it up, and I'll go ahead and just do an initial buckling, you might say. This is not really a final adjustment at this point. Just trying to make sure that everything is hooked up, laying flat, and ready to go on to the next step. Okay, so once I've got the harness donned at this point, everything's on, I'll start to do the adjustments. And so, depending on what size you are, these harnesses are available: small, medium, large, extra large, and so forth. So you need to make sure that you have the right size harness for your right size body frame. And so I'll tighten that up just a touch right there. The next thing I'll do is I'll adjust the leg straps. And generally this is too loose, as you can tell. And so you need to have about the thickness of your hand in between that when you do that. So I'll tighten these straps up a little bit more. And they should be pretty consistent on both sides, unless you have unusually different leg thicknesses. But that's about what you're looking for there. You're looking for just one thickness of your hand placed on your thighs. That should be pretty comfortable, not too tight though. And at that point, you'll be properly adjusted. You want to make sure that everything is laying flat all the way, front and back. The other thing you want to make sure of is that the D-ring is centered between your shoulder blades. And that's an important criteria. If that's too high or too low, in the event of a fall, it could hamper you and the way that your head tilts and so forth for breathing purposes. And so pretty much that's where we're at. You'll need to be able to do this in a 3-minute time frame. The last thing you do is just a reverse process of taking it on, taking it off. So basically we'll start just like I did, only opposite direction. You'll unbuckle the top buckle. And at that point, I've successfully demonstrated how to inspect, don, and adjust a universal fit, vest style, full body harness. Typically when I go to put it back up, I don't like it being all tangled, but I'll just fold it in half and put it back the way that I found it, hopefully in better order. So in summary, for this lesson, I need to emphasize the fact that the inspection, donning, and adjustment procedure is very important. Just by simply being in a situation where you need this type of safety device, it's a life or death situation. You're usually above 6 feet at this point. You're usually having to be tied off for whatever reason, over a leading edge or whatever. And so death can easily occur if this item is not properly inspected, donned, and adjusted. And then further than that, it's not just a matter of life and death. It can also be a matter of your job. Depending on your employer and their safety procedures, you could simply lose your job and not be rehireable for that employer. So I hope today that I've been able to get the point of the lesson across, and that we will be able to meet the 2 objectives of the lesson. And if you have any questions in the future, you can feel free to contact me. And that'll be the end of our lesson for today. Thank you.